organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, whether you're in a fraternity or sorority at the UI or not, it's not hard to notice that it's Greek Week. Some details coming up next.
And later, with all the crazy weather we've been experiencing, learn how the UI handles severe weather emergencies.
And in sports, the Hawks offense wasn't looking too good in Saturday's spring football game. Find out what changes are being made.
That's all coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Welcome to Daily Iowan TV. I'm Christina Targos.
And I'm Brad Maxwell. Iowa native and former University of Iowa student Jim Young Kim was chosen Monday afternoon to be the next leader of World Bank. Kim is currently the president of Dartmouth College and was nominated to the World Bank position by President Barack Obama last month. Kim was born in Seoul, South Korea, but moved to Muscatine, Iowa with his family when he was 5. Kim attended the University of Iowa where his father taught dentistry briefly before transferring to Brown University, where he graduated magna cum laude. He went on to earn medical and doctorate degrees from Harvard. Kim will take office for his new position at World Bank in July.
It's that time of year again when the Greeks come out to represent their chapters. Yes, it's Greek Week. It's a week of friendly competition, meetings, awards, and philanthropy. It spans from Monday, April 16th to Saturday, April 21st. And to kick off Greek Week, Monday was the Greek Olympics. It consisted of fraternities and sororities competing against each other in ultimate frisbee, bags, tug of war, and relay races. But Greeks all over campus love this week for more than just the events.
I wanted to participate today because I really wanted to get involved with my chapter and our pairing and hopefully win Greek Week.
A report by the Center for Disease Control released Monday shows an alarming jump in overdose rates for prescription drugs. Roughly half of the 824 accidental poisonings for kids and teens in 2009 were adolescents aged 15 to 19. Center for Disease Control Deputy Director Elena Arias said that prescription drugs are replacing marijuana as the gateway drug. The study also pointed out that the number of accidental deaths, such as those resulting from fires and falls, are down. Iowa, Delaware, Oregon, and Virginia saw the biggest declines in deaths, according to the report.
And the Department of Justice also released a statement Monday that 15 people have been arrested on allegations of running a secret online narcotics marketplace. Arrests were made in 6 states, including eastern Iowa, as well as the Netherlands and Colombia. The arrests were the outcome of a 2-year probe led by agents from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, with assistance from other international agencies. The online narcotics marketplace sold controlled substances to roughly 3,000 customers throughout the U.S. and in 34 other countries. All of those arrested face a maximum of life in prison if convicted of conspiracy.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, when disaster strikes, get an inside look at how the UI deals with dangerous weather.
And in sports, the Hawkeyes aren't guaranteed a spot in the Final Four next year, but they are in the Big Four.
But first, let's check in with Daily Iowan TV's Alyssa Berger-Mini for a look at today's weather forecast.
Well, after a weekend full of surprising weather, the storm is unfortunately not over. Thunderstorms will be returning back on Wednesday, but first, let's take a look at Tuesday's temperatures. The morning will be cooler with a low of 42 degrees and will be partially cloudy. Heading into the afternoon, the temperature will increase to 59 degrees with clouds still hovering over. And for the evening, the weather will continue to stay cool with temperatures in the lower 50s. Now taking a look at the 6-day forecast, Wednesday and Thursday will be in the 60 temperature range, but we'll have a 50% chance of thunderstorms. For Friday, you can expect 55-degree temperatures, but we'll have a 20% chance of rain that will continue into Saturday. But look forward to Sunday because we should see some sun shining. And for the crazier weather Iowa City had this weekend, Daily Iowan's TV Josh Bolander caught up with one UI student about his part to aid in storm prevention. Let's take a look at what Josh has about the pricey damage from the storm. Josh?
You might not know it by taking a glance at the UI campus this afternoon. The blue sky is picturesque, and thousands of UI students are busy catching buses, walking to classes, or just having a relaxing afternoon at Hubbard Park. This, however, is the scene just a few days ago, as supercells dotted the Midwest and tornadoes touched down across the plains and heartland, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage and leaving countless broken homes in its wake. While the UI currently has a solid tornado plan in place, at least one student on campus is actively involved with prevention as well.
And weather growing up, it's especially growing up in Iowa, there's a lot, a lot of severe weather, tornadoes, thunderstorms, floods, winter storms going on. So it's kind of been a little interest of mine for, while growing up.
Is currently certified as a weather spotter, who aids local meteorologists in helping to find, locate, and analyze particular storms, including tornadoes.
So in the case of like the storms this weekend, obviously they had spotters out, and then they have a place where you can go and report information, hail size. You can do some basic wind speed calculations, those types of things to provide information to the Weather Service so they can better analyze the storms while they're occurring and even after the fact.
So while the leaves on trees continue to blossom and the grass may have never looked greener, remember the power of Mother Nature and those doing their best to prevent her wrath. Josh Bolander, Daily Iowan TV.
This year's unusually warm weather has proven to be beneficial for the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, as fishing license sales have been record numbers compared to the past decade. Fishing license sales have remained fairly steady since 2007, but there was a 25% increase between the first 3 months of 2011 and the first 3 months of this year. This money from the boom in the fishing license sales will go towards the DNR's Fish and Wildlife Fund, which will help to protect and even enhance fish and wildlife populations, among other things. Despite this recent surge in fishing license sales, department officials feel that it isn't enough to sustain many programs, and they expect fishing license fees to increase in the near future. Iowa hasn't risen the cost of fishing license fees since individual rates went from $10.50 to $17.50 in 2004. The Iowa Department of Natural Resources hopes to utilize Facebook and Twitter so that sales can remain strong throughout the rest of the year.
President Barack Obama is strongly campaigning for increasing taxes among the richest Americans. Daily Iowan TV's Ryan Jones tells us about the minimal effect the Warren Buffett rule would have on Iowa City.
Warren Buffett has been complaining that his secretary pays more in taxes than he does, even though he is a billionaire. The current highest tax rate for Americans is 35%, but a majority of people making enough to qualify for that 35% rate never actually pay that much. Through charitable donations, tax incentives, and other deductions, only a fraction pay that rate. For example, Mitt Romney paid a rate of 13.9%. President Obama looks to change that.
In fact, 1 in 4 millionaires pays a lower tax rate than millions of hardworking middle-class households. As Warren points out, that's not fair, and it doesn't make sense.
Under the Warren Buffett rule, anyone making over $1 million would pay a minimum rate of 30%, regardless of deductions. But despite all the political attention the Buffett rule is getting, it would only have a limited effect on the nation, especially here in Iowa City. Through open records, we found that only 2 University of Iowa employees would be affected by this new rule. Head coach Kurt Ferricks makes over $3 million, and Jean Roblard, the vice president of medical affairs, makes over $1 million. Those are the only UI employees who would make enough to be affected by the Buffett rule. Based strictly on salary, even UI president Sally Mason would not be affected by this new rule. Yearly, she makes about $500,000. That has not come close to qualifying for the 30% rate. According to the Treasury Department, only about 1 out of 1,000 people would see any changes in their taxes at all. The Senate is expected to vote on the Buffett rule on Monday, but is expected to fail, giving more evidence that this is just a political move by President Barack Obama. I'm Ryan Jones for Daily Iowan TV. Back to you.
And now for a look beyond Iowa. Pope Benedict XVI is now 85. The pontiff celebrated Monday morning with a Mass of Thanksgiving at the Pauline Chapel of the Vatican. The Pope will make another milestone this week. Thursday is the 7th anniversary of his election to the papacy.
18 hours of terror have tested the strength of Afghan security forces as the clock ticks towards the withdrawal of NATO troops. The Afghan military countered a series of attacks in the heart of Kabul and elsewhere on Sunday and early Monday. 35 insurgents died in the operation, and the Taliban claimed they coordinated the attacks, which also killed 4 civilians and 8 Afghan troops. And now we'll see what's happening in Hawkeye sports with Daily Iowan TV's Kate Constable.
The Hawkeye football team had their annual spring game this past Saturday, and as you heard on yesterday's show, the defense was looking strong. So what does that mean for the offense? Daily Iowan TV's Annie Costable caught up with Kirk Ferentz and some of the guys after the game Saturday, and they know there's plenty of areas that need improvement.
The annual spring football game was held Saturday afternoon, and fans were eager to see what the Hawkeyes had to show them. It came as no surprise to them with all the changes made in the offseason that there is still a lot of work to be done.
It's spring practice, and I think as everybody saw today, we have a lot of work to do right now after 12 practices.
Most of the errors came from the offensive end, and after the Hawkeyes acquired O coordinator Greg Davis, it has been a lot for the guys to adjust to. Senior starting quarterback James Vandenberg wasn't entirely pleased with the offensive performance.
I think you're ever going to get what you wanted when there's a lot of things to clean up, and I think we had a lot of loose ends today, a lot of just little things, route depths, catching the ball, protection, just a lot of things that you got to have all 11 guys on the same page, and there's a lot of times all spring with this new offense. You have 9 or 10, but one guy, this is a really team sport, and how this offense works, there's no Marvin McNutt. Everybody's got to contribute.
As the guys familiarize themselves with this new offense, they've begun working on the details of it. One specific detail for the offense was ball security.
We're getting more and more familiar with the offense, but we had a couple minor the fumbles, picks, but that's all going to come with reps and practice. So.
I've said this a couple times, but we really just got everything installed. So now it's really just going back to everything we've put in over 8 or 9 days and really detailing it. And there's a lot of things we can continue to detail, starting with ball security.
Ball security is a huge issue, and if we don't take care of the ball, we're not going to win games. It's as simple as that, and that's true every year. So that's got to get cleaned up.
The guys have a lot to take away from this spring game, and come summer training, they'll have their work cut out for them. Annie Costable, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
The guys still have 3 more practices left to fine-tune things before summer workouts. And while football fans have a lot to look forward to next year, Iowa basketball fans do too with a new event, the Big Four Classic. But the impact the tournament could have on in-state rivalries has created mixed reactions among UI students. Daily Iowan TV's Kyle Hughes has the story.
The creation of the Big Four Classic means significant changes for the Iowa men's basketball program, including not having games here at Carver Hawkeye Arena against Drake or UNI for the foreseeable future. Last week it was announced the state of Iowa's 4 Division I men's basketball teams will face off in an annual doubleheader at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. The Big Four Classic will create a spotlight event for all 4 schools, but it also means that Iowa won't face both Drake and UNI every season.
I think it's a really good idea. All 4 major state programs this year had a lot of success. They all made it to postseason play, and it's a really great way to bring in the entire state into one event. No professional teams, so everyone revolves around sports, and with 4 great basketball schools, it makes a lot of sense to bring them all together for one event.
I think it's a great idea. Great thing to bring to Des Moines. I know how important the rivalry between all the Iowa schools is. Coming from Iowa, been around that my whole life, so it's really great to see they're still trying to incorporate the rivalries. Well, I know that some schools want to keep the others off the schedule, but it's nice to see at least they'll be continuing the Iowa rivalries into the future.
My dad was a huge Hawkeye fan, and my mom was a big UNI fan, and so it was always fun seeing UNI and Iowa play each other, and I think interstate rivalries are really important to have some friendly rivalry and through the Hawk fans and every other fan in Iowa. So it's going to be sad to see that we're not going to play the other schools.
The inaugural Big Four Classic takes place December 15th with Iowa State playing Drake, followed by Iowa playing UNI. That's your Hawkeye Sports Update. Brian Casina, back to you guys.
Before we leave you tonight, check this out. This isn't what you would normally see in a school parking lot. For Auburndale High School students, it was Bring Your Tractor to School Day. The Farming Fun is in its 5th year. A tradition started by one student has become so popular they've transformed it into an awareness event. Tractor drivers sold cookies during lunch and used the opportunity to learn more about farming as well as spread awareness on tractor safety.
I wouldn't be all that surprised to see that in my hometown.
I would.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can get a sneak peek into the print version of Tuesday's Daily Iowan. Read about one new workshop fad that has skyrocketed in popularity over the past year.
Plus, learn how some hemp advocates in the area are pushing for looser growing regulations of the plant and why.
Well, that's your Monday edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.